has a lot tougher life than any of us have, and she wanted to meet our team, and she wanted to meet Coach Williams. And before I start on the game, it's hard to respect, for me personally, it's hard to respect somebody more than I respect Coach Williams. And he's always treated me that way. But when you play against their team, you know certain things. You know that they're going to be at an incredibly high level in their transition game. You know that they're not going to beat themselves with turnovers and bad shots. You know that they're going to be incredible on the weak side board and with rebounding the ball, amongst the many other things that they do. And the bottom line is you've got to be able to match every bit of that if you have a chance to beat them. It's not easy to do. And our guys did that tonight. They matched it. We had a tremendous crowd, obviously, that brought a ton of energy to everyone. But our guys, they are absolutely spent. And I would bet Coach Williams' guys are as well. I mean, our guys, they're in a great frame of mind, but they're absolutely spent. And this is one of those games where they left every bit of it out there. And then that's why I'm so proud of them. I mean, we overcame, the injury with James. We had a short bench tonight. We're playing a great team. And the fact that we were able to defend the way that we did with the way that they were shooting the ball. I mean, they were shooting 55% in Maui, 52 or 53% overall. And to be able to keep that field goal percentage down under 40 was huge. We knew going into the game, the rebounding game was going to be as big as anything, and especially that 5-foot area on all sides of the rim and in front of the rim, what we call the alley, because they do such a great job of getting to the weak side. And it was even, which was huge. We knew we couldn't turn the ball over at a high level without them being able to capitalize on it. I think the points off turnovers were 3, so those are the statistical things. But the bottom line is I thought both teams absolutely competed. We're committed to the competing. We're committed to each other. And we were fortunate to get the win, inside of 40 minutes. So go ahead.
Yeah, I guess sort of a twofold question. OG, it seemed like maybe as good of a two-way game as he's had this year, both offensively and defensively, and kind of to tack onto that.
Yeah, I haven't even thought about that part of it yet. I'm more concerned about his ankle right now. But he did a good job. We were spent tonight. And I'm going to have to figure that, part of it. We didn't over-practice by any stretch. We didn't even practice on Monday. I mean, we knew it was going to be a battle. Plus, we play on Friday and Sunday. So our preparation was a lot mental. It was a lot of in a walk-through, detailed way. It was a lot of film. There was some mechanical, detailed type things we practiced yesterday. But we knew energy going into this game would be huge. I mean, especially with him coming off the illness. Because even though he played well on Sunday, I didn't think he was anywhere close to healthy. I don't think, like I said the other day, I don't think any of us realized how sick he was last week because of the fact that it continued to linger with him. But I'll save the tape for how I feel about the two-way part. But for as far as tenacity and continuing to play, these guys were on second, third, fourth wind early, and I think Carolina's guys might have been too. I mean, it was an incredible atmosphere in there. And biggest thing, and OG did a great job with this, the biggest thing I'm proudest of, maybe with all of them on the court, especially in this environment, is this was probably the best we've talked. It was the best we communicated on the court. It was the best that we kept each other in the spots. We had a couple mistakes defensively. We went zone. We had a couple guys not in it at certain points, so we made some mistakes there. But that's big for OG. When OG is a big part of the communication process on the floor, especially, with as loud as it was in here, that's big for us. So those are the kind of things that I'm looking at more right now, even than the grading of the film or grading of the game.
Sorry,
I'm sorry. Wait.
I just sort of to follow up.
What?
Just kind of where's he at with the ankle?
I'm not sure yet. I mean, he's getting evaluated in there. So, I mean, he couldn't go back in the game, but it's high, so we'll see. Go ahead, Greg. I'm sorry.
Well, that's what I want to know.
About the ankle?
High ankle?
Yeah, it seems like it's high. Yeah, I haven't gotten an update yet. I mean, as far as he's in the training room, so we'll see. We'll see. I mean, his spirit's good. So we'll see how that turns out. But he couldn't have gone back in the game, according to Tim.
How does a night like this happen? I mentioned it happen every night, but it's hard to bring it every night. How does it happen when these guys brought what they brought?
I think it's learning. I think, again, this is a team with no seniors. And Josh Newkirk is a senior in school, but he hasn't played in so long. It's the responsibility that they've got to learn to have for one another. I think if we learned anything valuable from last week, it was that you got to have an edge every night. because the other team does. And it's not easy every night. That's why the togetherness and the responsibility for one another and the being able to be demanding with one another becomes really, really important. So we're going to grow in that. You know, we've had 2 major 15-round fights, you know, with Kansas and Carolina won it, and we had one that we didn't necessarily fight 15 rounds in. You know, we didn't get started on time last week and still came back and had our chances. So we're going to go through some of that with this team, I think, because the biggest thing for them, I think, personally, is we got good players, we've got good people. They have not been in the role where they have to be responsible for each other. You know, those guys have been able to play. There were always other people. Yogi was there, and Troy became a leader last year, and you had Max and Nick, and certainly Colin, you know, the way he grew into it. So they just got to continue to grow with that, and hopefully we'll get more consistent as we go.
How valuable is it when you have a night like this where you have James and Rob combining for something like 15 rebounds?
That was big. Guard rebound, I didn't realize that. Guard rebounds were going to be huge. And I wasn't, I was very, I put a lot of thought into we were going to start James or not. Not because we wouldn't start him, but because we're going to manage his conditioning. He practiced some yesterday. Other than that, he hadn't practiced, right? He'd been rehabbing and in the hydrotherapy pool and things like that. So I was not worried about his minutes as much as his energy to finish a game. And decided, you know what, we're going to ride with the 3 guards tonight. And I said, if we don't rebound, we're not winning. And we knew that the guard rebounds were going to be huge in this game. I haven't seen what the breakdown was with their guards, but they are so physical when that shot goes up that if you don't match that, and if you're not fighting them for that position, okay, you have no chance. Well, that means somebody's got to come in and get the ball. So the guard rebounds were going to be absolutely a paramount number for us. Rick.
The team that scored, I think, 93 or more, 5 out of 7 games.
Mm-hmm.
As you mentioned, they're shooting 55%. You held them under 40. What was the key defensively?
We were locked into their personnel. We didn't guard the dribble a couple of times. When we did a really good job with our post defense plan, we were good. A couple of times that we let them get to that left shoulder and get that left foot across the lane. They're quick. I mean, they know what they're doing, right? I mean, so it's very, very hard to guard those guys with one person. But if you come off and you're continually doubling and you're rotating, now all of a sudden they've got enough drivers and shooters to create problems. So we needed to be really, really good with our post plan. We did a good job of that. We never wanted them to let comfortable, and I think the other big thing was we wanted to make their inside players have to play both ways, up and down the court, you know, play two-way constantly as much as possible. And we had every intention of running, just like they did. But the key to running was the recognition. If we had the numbers, if we had the advantage, take something with it. But if we didn't, let's get the ball reversed. And we did a lot of different things tonight with having our forwards out, even more extended than what they usually are, try to create more space around the basket. So I think that had something to do with it. But we guarded pretty well. I'll be surprised if we didn't guard pretty well and have good shot challenges and things of that nature.
Bob, did you have something?
Yeah, I was just curious if the 81 guys came in and talked to the team.
Well, they did. I missed some of it. Landon Turner was talking to them when I came in for the pregame, but some of them were at our walkthrough. We weren't on the court very long today. We watched a lot of film and we stretch on game day, and we were probably on the court for about 30 minutes, but some of them were there before the event. But yeah, I think almost every one of them were in the locker room before the game. So the presence of them was there. They met them. And I'm not sure who else talked, but when I walked in, Landon was speaking to him. And he's done it before, but it was big time. I mean, and we'll talk even more about it tomorrow. There was so much going on with preparation of the game, but, you know, Randy Whitman standing in there. I mean, there's so many guys, you know, and I haven't seen Isaiah yet. I'm not sure if he was in there after or not, but it's just, and I want them to watch the video at some point of the halftime. We could hear it. We could hear what halftime sounded like. So we certainly were out there when Kyle Schwarber got his intro. That was kind of cool. But it was a great night all the way around, and it was great to have those players be in their presence.
Minutes you got on Duran tonight, played 13 minutes, 2 blocks, 5 points,
Mm-hmm.
3 rebounds. How important was he in terms of guarding the paint?
Very, very important. And I think, you know, Roy was I don't know this. I mean, but it seemed like every time we checked around, and here came Kennedy Meeks, right? And this was I talked about this with Duran after the game briefly. I think this is the difference now. Like, they were attacking in the pick and roll. That's a high-level team. You know, that's why the foot speed, the technique, how you guard that pick and roll, how you get around in the post, all those things are so important. And we've got to continue to get him, because when he spreads out and posts up, he is he covers a lot of ground. He creates a lot of space. Now we've got to get him to cover a lot of ground. And he's going to get better and better. He's going to get better and better as he plays his way into the conditioning that he's got to have. His attitude's great. And I think we'll have even more upside in our team as he becomes more of a mainstay down the road.
Carolina cuts the lead to 4 late. What did you feel like were the keys to weathering that storm?
We made timely baskets. We made some timely plays. We were winded, right? We were definitely winded. And I wanted to save the timeouts as much as we could because we knew it was coming down the stretch. One of the final things we did today was prepare for how to close the game, because Roy is so good at playing from behind, right? And coming back and keeping the press on and looking for the 2 traps in the half court or in the back court and getting you right across midcourt. So we needed to make sure that we had enough ammo left for that at the end. So I didn't worry too much about that because I thought they made a couple tough shots. We made a couple tough shots. Again, I don't have the recollection of, I think Blackman hit a big 3, didn't he? Yeah, that was big. So I didn't get too uptight. Our confidence was good. I was just worried about our wind. I was worried about our fatigue level at that point.
Sorry. Rob defended a lot of different guys tonight, including Justin Jackson. You've talked before about his growth as a defender, but how far has he come that he's able to square up a guy that can go inside out the way Jackson can?
Rob was at another level tonight. He really was. His speed, his defense, he was really, really locked in. I thought the fact that he had a really good game on Sunday helped him. He's one guy that I was definitely concerned about overuse, right? Because he's played a lot of minutes already for us, and he looked like he'd had a week's vacation. He looked great, and he really did. He was moving, he was flying around, and he looked like he'd been the one that had been off, where Blackman had been out of practice. So he made big shots. He moved the ball. He attacked. He got the ball off his body tonight. Sometimes when he struggles, the ball's sitting on his hip. That's something we try to continue to work with him constantly on getting that ball away from his body, attacking off both feet, both hands. And he did better with that. But he's got a lot of pride, right? And Carolina was a part of the recruiting process. It was one of the final 2 or 3 when we signed him. And he's from, that area in there. And so, it was both teams, I think, I sensed a great deal of respect for one another. And it wasn't like anybody went out there and knew that we couldn't play anything less than 100%.
Just 2 points in transition area and fast break for North Carolina. What were some of the keys there?
Well, I think the biggest thing is the start of the game. We didn't give any fast break points in the first half, and that was huge. And the key was going to be that we would continue with that. So they're so good with that. And again, sometimes they're just – the speed is so good because Barry can get across the court so well. He is really, really good. He was really good last tournament. And I thought he was as key to why they went to the – certainly Bryce Johnson had great numbers and Marcus Page was on a roll. But I thought Barry really took his game to another level in parts of February and certainly in March and then leading into the national championship game. So, and he's even better now. And I have – after playing him in March and playing him tonight, they missed some guys with some different guys. They're really good, right? They're really, really good. You can see the experience of them. They're not going to deviate from what they want to do. And we had to get back and respect that because not only do you have to stop him in transition, but you have to stop the big that's coming down, but then the trailing big is so good if they get that shot up. They're so good at offensive rebounding and so good at rebounding that miss, whether it's in front of the rim or whether it's on the weak side. So we were locked into that, and I thought for the most part we had good rim coverage.
Just to follow up on Barry, he went for 24 and 22, I think it was, in the semifinals.
Oh, they're going to say tonight. I said I didn't see that.
You guys pulled him to 8, 3 for 13. How important was it for you guys just to keep him from getting off?
Yeah, he's a rhythm player. He's a great player. We played against some excellent guards. Mo Evans is really good, and obviously Frank Mason, Devontae Graham. Those guys are good, and so the key is we didn't want to let him get in a rhythm, whether it was different matchups, whether it was different defenses. I thought our guys did a really good, I want to watch the film on this, but I thought our guys, we were really locked in to the 2 or 3 key takeaways in that game. I mean, in this game with him. You know, really with the majority of the players. But this wasn't, in a short week like this, and with as much as they do, it would not have been good for a young team to spend so much time on 30, 35 different things. We had to have a couple things locked in, all right, and which is different for us because usually we want to have an answer for everything, you know, and sometimes you have an answer for nothing when you try to do that. But we wanted to really be locked into key characteristics with their personnel, and I thought we were. And Jackson's first step was better than I even thought it was, and I thought it was the best I'd seen by anybody all year. You know, I haven't seen everybody play, but that first step is absolutely lethal, and he got us a couple times with that. So Barry, for his size, does a really good job with getting that foot turned too and getting around you, and we wanted to make sure we made that hard. So.
Tom, I was wondering, did Kyle talk to you guys before the game?
No, he met the team. He was at the walkthrough. He was up in our office for a little while, and we had a lot of different people that walked through today, and so he was around for that, and he didn't come in after, but they all knew. They all knew he was here. But we got a lot of baseball coaches here right now at NFL, major leagues. A country music star back there, David Nail. It was cool. I mean, it's cool to have people around, and it's cool when they can meet those people. But this was important. This is something with Kyle that I reached out to him in July, you know, when he was going through that rehab process. And because he was such a great young man here. I mean, he really was. I mean, he loved baseball, obviously, but he loved sports, right? I mean, he was around, and it was so easy to talk to. So it's so great to watch him have his success. Well, he was going through such a tough time with the rehab. So I just wanted to throw something out to him for the season, and then it ended up being this. And he took it, and I'm glad that he came. That was, everybody will remember that ovation. Go ahead, Rich. Go ahead. You have one? Go ahead.
Yeah. Everybody thinks they have a home court advantage. You guys have won 5 straight here against top 3 teams. What happens here in the biggest moment?
Well, it's a good question. I think the energy is so high. They certainly bring a lot of confidence. But like on a night like tonight, it just never gets quiet. And you worry about that because, I mean, there were students sleeping across the street last night, right? And there were thousands and thousands of them out there this morning. And so you worry I'm worried about our energy. I'm worried about their energy, right? Are they going to have enough energy? And they did, right? I mean, so it's a great place to play. It's an even better building now, you know, with what the Simon Scott family's done. There's a lot of pride here. But, I mean, we have to play well, right? I mean, we have to defend. We have to put the ball in the basket, you know, those type of things. But there's a great comfort level playing with them, and I think it helps build confidence all the way around. But we have to be able to play in any type of environment, and we've got to continue to learn that. So, thank you.
Sure, we'll see all of you Friday.